tell you, what would I do? Thank you, Miss Marcia, so much. Now I hope you can hear me. So, as I was saying to no one, I'll tell you why I'm discombobbled in just a few minutes. But when I set this up, due to the equipment that I have, the camera and the capture card and all of that stuff, I have to record this because even though we're live, it is recording on, thank goodness YouTube records this for us. But I have to set it up as webcam. And I accidentally, last week when I set up the placeholder, I set it up as streaming software, which I don't have the capability to do. So when I went to come on, right on time, wouldn't you know, it was in a mode that I couldn't change. I had to close that one out and start a brand new one. So I'm sorry about that, but I'm a little discombobbled today, and I'll tell you why. Mark has been gone since last Sunday morning. He went to the beach, Topsail Island, his favorite place. There's a little fisherman's hotel he stays in. Nothing fancy, trust me. And the kind of little, place that your feet get dirty when you walk around the room. But it's great because it's right there between the ocean and the sound. And he gets a room so he's looking out on the sound. For some of you that might not know what a sound is, it's kind of part of the river. It's the other side of the sand from the beach. If you're lucky enough to be on a section that has it, I think it's connected to the intercoastal waterway, but he loves being able just to look out his room or go out on his little balcony and see water. So I'll see if I can show you. And I'll see if I can show you a little video he sent me. That is a great idea. And so that's why I'm discombobbled, because I tried to print out the agenda. I tried to work on my nod to the 19th century block of the week, and the printer is not talking to my computer. Well, without Mark, I have no idea how to fix it. So, and then I have to confess, I've been real busy lately running around. And this week I had all of these big plans of stuff I was going to get done. I was going to make a new waterproof canvas cover for my rocking swing, my little outdoor rocking swing. Didn't even think about it. I was going to get the studio cleaned up. I mean, really, Deb, this is a mess. Didn't even think about it. Lots of stuff, like Mark's been asking me to clean up all my dye stuff out in his garage. So anyway, I found I have been doing mostly paper bead making. In fact, I made all of these. I've been binge watching streaming television. I watched all of Sanditon. Oh gosh, I've been watching this. It's on Netflix, and it's got, what is her name? Carrie Russell. She is extraordinary. And I forgot now, she's an ambassador in England, but they want her to be the vice president. And I've been binge watching shows. And one of the reasons, when Mark is gone, he normally is up by 5:30. So he lets the dogs out and then he feeds them about 8 o'clock when I'm still sleeping, because I'm always up till 2 or 2:30. Well, this week, there was one day I was up till 3:30. There was one day I was up till 4:45. that doesn't work with getting up and letting the dogs out. So I've been doing this odd thing where I get up to let them out. I feed them. I stay up for about an hour that it takes them to go out, potty, come in and eat, and then go back out and potty. Then I go back to bed for a few hours. Well, that by the time you wake up at noon, the day goes by real fast. So, but the good news is I was telling Mark, I said, I feel terrible because I had all these things planned to do. I haven't done any of it. He said, good for you. So all I did was my regular chores. But now this meant yesterday and today, I've been cleaning the house, preparing a dinner for today, baking a cake. So when he comes home, he's got his favorite spaghetti and his favorite chocolate cake. So I haven't done my prep for the show. And I kind of thought, oh, I should really, normally I get wound up about that if I don't have the stuff ready for the show. But I said, you know what? I'm just going to tell him I played hooky this week. And I truly played hooky. When he goes out of town, I make this my favorite dinner. And if I don't have good pork chops, then I make hamburger patties and season them before I make them and then broil them. But there's this rice that I grew up on because my grandmother was Arcadian from South Carolina, and it's called Perlo. And I make a huge cast iron skillet full of Perlo. And then the whole time he's gone for dinner, I have a hamburger, Perlo, and a vegetable. And this week especially, I got really good at eating one meal at 3 or 4 in a day because I just take from that each day. I have a little of it. And I had some nice fresh broccoli. I had some asparagus. One day I even made corn. But that's kind of how I live when he's gone. And so I've just kind of, besides doing my normal chores, I've piddled. And then yesterday it was like, whoa, I better get busy because I got to clean this house. And I've got 3 loads of laundry because, I did decide yesterday, let's wash all of this and that. Oh my goodness. I finally woke up just a touch. So anyway, hello. Sorry, I went on and on. I got another thing to tell you. Mark has been messaging me. The poor guy. He has been riding home on his motorcycle the whole way in pouring rain. He stops if it gets too bad and tries to find an overhang to pull under. He has to stop every hour-ish to get gas, or hour and a half. He just messaged me a few minutes ago. He's still got an hour and a half to go, and he said he is soaking wet. So I feel so bad for him. I wish there was something I could do to help. I can't go get him in the car. My newer car, I would have to try to hook the trailer up to it to go get him. It doesn't even have a trailer hitch, the new one. So he's just got to make it home on his own, but he's going to come home like a drowned rat. So at least, I figured I'll probably be done with the show by the time he drives up. And I'm just going to help him get the stuff off the bike, get him into a warm shower. But anyway, he's had a great time. And there we go. All right. Well, let me see who's here and what you've been saying while I've babbled on. All righty. Let's see. Oh, somebody's been mushroom hunting. Oh, gosh. Has Jody done that? I am so tickled for you, Miss Jody. And I'm so happy. May 11th is her Freedom Day. She is going. Miss Jody is the most amazing, brave woman. I mean, I think the whole group would agree with me. She has handled dealing with breast cancer, a more tricky version. And she has been wonderful. And her doctors have been wonderful. And they've put her on the latest and greatest cancer treatment. Cancer nowadays is not your grandparents' cancer. The treatments they're making huge strides with them. And if you're brave like Miss Jody, they can do amazing things. So she's going to get her port removed, and it's very special. She's been through a year and a half of extremely tough, hard work. Terry has been wonderful right by her side, and I'm so grateful. So May 11th, keep it in your mind. It's coming up. In fact, is tomorrow really May 1st? But it's going to be a special May around here, let me tell you. All righty. So Michelle was the first person here. Thank you, Marcia, for saving me. Jody, Polly. Yeah, thank you, Polly. I thought of, this week I'd love to have Polly over. Oh, but then I'd have to clean the house first. I want to have fun. So, Polly, I owe you a trip over, I promise. Oh, hello, Svetlana. And Svetlana, I got to say, I'm getting real tired of this war. I'm getting real tired of what Putin is doing to your country, and something's got to stop. So please know our hearts are with you. And we're starting to get real angry right now. This is too much, too much. So hang in there, hon. Hang in there. So Diana B is here. Oh, Polly, you remembered Svetlana. Thank you. Y'all are the nicest people. I just love y'all so much. Diana B. And it is so good to see Michelle Lang. You know, she's the reason I started this group 5 years ago. In fact, I was telling the group the other day, I know why. I was talking about my quilt came back in the mail. And I was really disappointed it didn't do better. But then when I read the judge's comments, she's got a point. Michelle will tell you, I am not good at the technical details. I can, work with creating an artistic picture. But I said, Michelle, I told them, you and I were such a good team because you are an excellent technician and I'm good at the flighty imagining stuff. So, and it just tells me for me to enter a quilting show, I've got to work on the technical details, the finish, making sure that when I quilt it, the tension is right. Making sure and learning that if you have a heavily quilted and thread painting quilt, make sure your border is the same thickness. You can't have just a one layer of batting in your border because the fabric, if you were to feel the fabric in that quilt, it's like textiles. It's, very thick. So anyway, but I was saying that's where Michelle was so good for me because she held my feet to the fire. She's like, Deb, slow down, take your time, do it right. I know. But I tell you, we were a great team. We made some pretty quilts. Okay. Oh, so let's see. Oh, Diplomat. Yeah. Isn't it good? Oh my gosh. And she's amazing. But the intrigue and not in the Diplomat show that's on Netflix, you're not sure who she can trust. And I think it's a little bit too realistic. Wears me out. So, okay. Thank you, Polly, for understanding. Sometimes I get running so fast and hard, but I'm soon going to be 67. I don't have that energy anymore. I just don't. Lisa, sorry about that, Lisa. I was telling them with my camera set up, I have to just set it up as a webcam stream, and I'd accidentally let it go through as now I forgot the word, but a different way of transmitting the thing through. So I had to start it all over again. Kathy Klein is here. Hi, sweetie. It is so good to see you. I'll never forget when Kathy Klein, she signs in with wonderful quilting symbols. When she used to sign in, it saw the scissors and it considered her dangerous. What? So Charlene Lawson is here. Hi, sweetie. Oh, Jody, I know you can't wait. I know you can't wait to get that port out, and you're going to feel like you're back to being Jody. Isn't that wonderful? So, okay, let me hear. Oops. Oh, good, good. Yes, I will definitely warm him up because, at this age, that's not fun to ride home soaking wet. And I wonder if he has his leathers on, because he likes, when he travels, he likes to wear the leather if he can, just in case, But, oh, honey, Jody, I felt like we love you so much. We felt helpless to do much, but just cheer for you so much. And you just made us so proud. So, okay, let's see. Betty Middleton is here. Meltem is here. Hi, sweetheart. And let me see. Oh, Lisa. Lisa's such a sweetheart. Gosh, thank you for that. And a little birdie said that Lisa might be starting a YouTube channel. So I made her promise. I said, you need to tell us what your channel's going to be. So, okay, let's see. Okay. Oh, look at everybody. You know what? That's the thing I love about this group. I get frustrated right now with things that are happening in the country, with the fear that's driving people to want to pull back to a much earlier time. And it can really overwhelm me because I have fought my whole life for women's rights and people's right, all people's. And I finally today said, I've been given a second chance by wonderful medical care. I cannot afford to be crushed under the weight of the frustration of what's happening. I can only do what I can do, and then I have to let it go. And for no other reason than the sense of community we have here, there's so much to be happy with about life. And we just have to do the best we can and move forward and put out there, be ourselves, what we want the world to be. Put out there the energy that we want the world to be filled with. And that's pretty much all we can do. And if I let myself get too upset, I can't run this community that we have here, and I would miss it. This is the best part of my week. Sundays, I love Thursday too, because art quilting is my favorite. But every Sunday, I leave this show feeling buoyed. I feel lighter and happier. And the sense of community, the sense of family we have built here is worth more than I can tell you. It is a treasure. And speaking of that, I've got a fun activity I'm thinking about. So let me finish saying hi to people, and then I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Maria Mason, hello. It is a rainy day for sure. Did I get everybody I want? Oh, thank you, Kathy. So I've been thinking this week. That's a nice thing about slowing down. I have a chance to think. And Melanie, I will get you those patterns today, I promise. And once I have to be able to print it and, make sure I've got everything written right. But this is what I've decided to do. I said, we've got summer coming up, and I love planning playtime for summer. And I want to give a live class this summer. And we'll have to see how it works for y'all. But I was thinking, should we do like a week-long class? And I'm even thinking, can we do it in a Jitsi format or Zoom format? It would have to be a free format because this is going to be a free class. But I thought, would you like to make a Bargello quilt? You can use fabric you have. You can, oh, thank you, Diana. And I want to see what time of day would be good for you. Should I do it every evening, or can I do it maybe noon Eastern time for like 3 or 4 hours, whatever time you think you can spare during the day. And I thought we would make it together. So it's as if, I want to create a classroom, but a virtual classroom. And that way, everything should be free. If you can use the fabric you have in your stash, or if you want to get fresh fabric. But I thought, let's have a real class. And I love taking the Mancuso classes. In fact, you know what? In just 2 weeks, Jody is taking a wonderful class from Esoterica Austin, I think is her name. And she's going to learn fabric painting. And I can't wait for her to fill us in on all the details. The one class I wanted to take, I waited too long to sign up. Also, let me make sure to tell you, I talked to Diane when I was at the Mancuso show, and she said we really need to support virtual classrooms because things have kind of slowed down out there in the quilt world. And if we want them to continue giving us high quality learning experiences, we need to support them. Remember, you might pay for a class, but you don't have to travel, stay in a hotel or whatever, and you're getting national and international quality teachers. So keep that in mind. I know they've got another one coming up in November. I told her, honestly, the November's tricky for me, and so is May. I said, the end of July, when it's too hot to do anything, would be a perfect time. I would love to take classes then. So we'll see how that happens. But the day after the port removal, oh my goodness. Well, hopefully once they take that out, it'll just be a piece of cake. And then you can be so distracted and celebrate the port being removed by taking your class. So good for you. Okay, so what I'm going to need you to think about, what time of day. Now, if you can't be there, I'm sure there'll be a way that we can have them recorded. And so, but I'm thinking sometime in June, kind of let me know, maybe like 3rd week of June. Anybody have any ideas? Monica's here. Yay. It is so good to see Monica. Oh, would Chris have a summer concert? Gosh, wouldn't that be nice? I'll have to ask him if they're going to record any of his concerts. That is so sweet of Marcia to remember. And I know they are performing again. So just think of when. And I'd like to have it in a format like Jitsi or Zoom so you can ask me questions. We can talk to each other and interact. So be thinking about it. And that's true. Lisa says COVID, it taught us to think outside the box. And I think now that we look at some of the changes we made have been wonderful for us. Some of the things that we have discarded from our former life and replaced with better ideas and better things are a great thing. So, okay. Oh, was the Bargello? Yes, we're going to do it and I'm going to explain it. It's not going to be hard and it will be a quilt as you go. So that when you're finished making this Bargello quilt, you're done. You just put a binding on it and you're done. So let me see. Jody says she works until 3:15, but she can watch it on the side. Okay. Oh, great. In fact, maybe we can make it so that Polly can come over and do it at least a day or more in person too. And you know what? I'm going to ask Miss Jody if she would do a one-day workshop on her weaving. That would be so much fun. Okay. Yeah. And we had to learn, COVID taught us and it taught us really to kind of think, but start thinking about what kind of fabrics you want. I like it when there's a progression from light to dark. Make sure you have a dark, dark and a light, light, because that really makes the design pop. And I'll have it all planned out, written out so that you can have a written copy as you go through. But I thought this might be fun. Put the word out if somebody else wants to come. Oh, there's a sweet Phoebe outside my window. And I've got so many birds. Oh my goodness, the hummingbirds are back. My hummingbird feeder is out. I've got 2 nests full of birds on the front porch. They're making a lot of poopy mess, but you know what? I'll clean that up. But the other day I've never seen one before. I saw a rose-chested rose-chested grosbeak. Rose-chested grosbeak. I've never seen one before. And yes, thank you. Good for you, Kathy Klein. And they're migratory. So I happened to catch it as it was going past, and it stayed a couple days to get filled up on black oil sunflower seed. So if you love birds and want to do a real healthy bird feeder, make a platform with hardware cloth, a nice fine hardware cloth. Make a platform feeder, and don't buy wild bird seed mix. Just buy black oil sunflower. That brings the widest range of birds. A lot of birds don't like a hanging feeder. Platform feeder takes care of everything. So, okay, let's see what y'all are saying about this show. Let's see. So then, you sold secondhand item. Good for you. Oh, that's wonderful, Malcolm. That is good ingenuity. That is using your brain and your heart. July would be great. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay, so more people are saying July. How do you feel about July? Maybe if we do a class in July, maybe in June, I'll have a day where I do some more indigo dyeing. I would love to have the camera set up out there so we can be kind of live doing it. Wouldn't that be fun? So I would definitely think of that. And I might want to do some regular fabric dyeing too. So, okay. And I know this summer, something I never did before, I want to make paper. So I will do that this summer. All right, good. So I think it's looking like people are saying, let's do July. So if you want to do that, that's what we'll do. And we'll do it early July. Does that sound okay? First or second week of July? I don't know if people are busy around the 4th. Okay, this is great. All righty. Now, so what I'm doing is this week's block of the week, nod to the 19th century. Nod to the 19th century. Now, let me grab real quick. Let me grab my quilt fabrics. Okay. I thought this week, I said, certainly I'll have a chance to finish this. No, not if you're just sitting on the couch binge watching TV. But I think this week recharged my batteries better than anything. When I go away, like to a retreat or class, I come home tired. It renews my spirit in some ways, it renews my brain in some ways, but I'm physically tired. And I think I've been telling y'all, I've been dealing with a sciatica problem, and that causes a lot of discomfort. You know what I just realized? I only have one earring on. I forgot to put the other earring in. Michelle, you see, I haven't really changed a bit, have I? I don't know if I can get this in correctly, but I went for a long time not wearing earrings because I'm very allergic to any kind of earring. And then I thought, well, I'll just wear it during the show. That's too hard to put in, so I think I'll take out the other one. But this ear always gives me trouble, so that's why it's the last one I put in. Oh, Michelle, you can't take me anywhere. You can dress me up, but you can't take me anywhere. Okay, hold on. All that excitement now gave me a summer moment. Okay. All right. So if some of you aren't aware, we've been doing a block of the week called Nod to the 19th Century, because I got this wonderful fabric from my January Myrtle Beach quilt party. And here is a block. And I just love this fabric. And I've always wanted to do a mid-18th century quilt. And now, hopefully, have I taught y'all this one yet or not? I don't know if I have. But when I first really understood quilting, I realized break it down to bite-sized bits. So, do you see that corner block? You might look at that and think, how do I do that? It's very simple. You cut a 4.5-inch square of red. Then you cut 2.5-inch squares of background and you sew it. You know how you draw a diagonal line? You sew on the diagonal line, flip it over, then trim it off, the extra off. This here is just a rail fence block. 2.5 by 4.5-inch pieces sewn together. So what might look like a complicated block is simply easy. Just break it down to the smallest bit. So I've got these, and what I've decided to do is to do a 9-patch cornerstone and a 3-step, you might want to call it rail fence style sashing. So now I really want to get this done and on the quilt frame because I love this. All right, so let me see. I've shown you 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. Here's block number 5. Here's block number 6. And this looks difficult, but it's not. It's a rectangle with a square sewn on the diagonal. Nice and easy. That's that 6. Then 7, chasing flying geese. 8, card trick. 9 square in a square. Whoops. Hold on. Yep. Both of these are kind of a play on the square and a square thing. Was that 9? 10? 11? Jacob's ladder. And then this block that I'm doing today is number 12. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm thinking of adding at least 3 more. When you decide how many blocks you want in a quilt, I always like to make a rectangle, an up and down rectangle, so it's longer than it is wide. But you can make them any way you want. So with 12 blocks, I would do it 3 across and 4 down. But if I want to add more blocks, the next thing I have to go to would be 15 blocks. Because if I go to 15 blocks, then I can do them 3 across, 5 down. Now, if you don't mind a square quilt, you could do 16 blocks and do 4 across and 4 down. But it's entirely what you want to do. But 12, 15, and 16 are the kind of numbers that we would be looking at. So I love figuring these blocks out and writing up the instructions. So I will do that, and what I need to do later today. Okay, let me tell you why this is. Do you see this block? I just love this block. But trying to figure out how to do this was the tricky part. And you can see in this block, there is a seam across here. So what I am working on, and I want to make sure that I make it first, because Lisa knows, she's been so good. She makes the blocks, and she knows that sometimes I have to come back and go, oop, I have to change something with that. So with this one, I was working out ahead how to make this part of the block. And the best way I have found to do it is to take a 2.5 inch by 4.5 inch rectangle. And then take a background square that's 2.5 inches and either draw or crease the background square in half diagonally, then to stitch it right sides together, stitch it on one side of this rectangle, stitch along here, then I'm going to fold it back as if we've already stitched it, ironed it, and trimmed it. And to get the other way, because it's got to end up looking like this. So what I would do then is get another rectangle, draw a line across it. Let me try to put it here. Okay. And this way you put these the opposite direction. Do you see how you do that? Is Mary here? Hi, sweetheart. So, and then you have to make sure they're highly accurate, because then you've got to sew those puppies together and you want it to look. And the thing also is I wanted the same fabrics here and the same background fabric here. And this is a scrappy quilt. So, and then I'd fussy cut the center block, which to me has been a lot of fun in this quilt. Oh, no, I decided that was the first one I fussy cut, but then I went, oh, I love this. So, okay. So anyway, now you know why I haven't released it, but hopefully this week when I get more sleep, I will get a few new blocks out there. All right, so hopefully I'm going to be able to show you a quilt top that's put together. So now, just real quickly, I want to show you, we started making good progress on our beach landscape quilt. And some of you might remember that Thursday, if you were here Thursday, this is the fence before, and this is the fence with ink tints. This is the sand with ink tints to give it more of a footprinty, chewed up look. I redid my sky to give it a better progression. Because yes, you can take the fabrics. Oh, you're so cute, Mary. You can take ink tints and thread painting to help blend your fabrics, but I had much too stark of a change. So we're getting there. We are getting there. And this next step is the ink tints. Then I follow it up with thread painting. Then I decide I will put it together, quilt it, and do the finish. And this time, when I finish it, I'm going to make sure that my tension is right and that there's as much quilting in the border as in the quilt. You can't just have heavily quilted and then very sparsely quilted. So I tried it. I thought it was cute to have it look like a picture frame, but it's hard to do that. Now, I thought I would have this all drawn. This is my Zen Safari. And all of that has been drawn in. One thing I want to do, and I may erase some of the doodles on the trunk. I want to have the doodles have a sense of movement. I want them to convey the curves in the elephant's face, the curves in the elephant's trunk. So I'm going to be working very hard. I'm going to redo part of this trunk, but I've got his legs and I'll finish the rest of him. Then once I get this done, I'm going to take a sturdy black thread, a good thickness of black thread, maybe like a 30 weight, and I'm going to quilt this. I'll put the batting and the backing and quilt it. Then I will get my fabric paints and I'm going to paint in the doodles and turn him into a wonderful Zen doodle bright elephant. Okay. Now, in going with that, I've got a few things to show you today. That window's bright. It's been raining today, and now it's decided the sun's going to come out, which means I bet you it is steamy out there. Let me close the blinds so we can see each other. I just was reminded, I have this little wooden bobbin holder. One day I knocked it off. It's behind the desk. Bobbins everywhere. It's going to be hard to find those bobbins. This is a big desk. That is my life. So when I went to and I will talk a little bit more about the quilt show. And let me make sure. Okay. I want to make sure. That's neat. So, I went to the Mancuso. Oh, I love Edge. Remember, this has been, look at the selvage. that shows the printing and the dyeing process. This is block printed African fabric. And you can smell the wax because there's residual wax. In fact, you know what? This fabric would make amazing fabric beads. I might do that. Wouldn't that be pretty? But this stand was French Connection out of Pittsboro, North Carolina. Hold on, I got to stand up. I'm getting a cramp. Oh, why am I getting a leg cramp? I think because that cold fan's blowing on it. Hold on. I've never had a cramp on this show. You just never know. Boy, when you get a cramp, it's like stand up quickly. But this is from Africa, African block print design, and really neat. So this is the only place I spent my money besides buying a pen. I've got that somewhere. But I just went past this shop and went, oh, wow. Oh, which side is, you know how it is with batiks and block prints. It's harder to tell. Oh, but isn't that pretty? So when I saw this, I thought, ooh, I'm going to put these patterns into the Zen Safari. This one, I think, is gorgeous. Gorgeous. And that's another thing. If you checked out, the old Kente mud cloth, keep checking African fabrics. They have really hit their stride. It is amazing. Okay, here is another one. Isn't that beautiful? It's almost got an Art Deco look to it. I think it is fab. Hydrate. Yeah, you know what? Good point. Let me get a drink. Thank you, sweetheart. I did do a lot of perspiring while I was cleaning the house. Oh, okay. Here we go. These fabrics made me excited. I could have spent a ton in that shop, but I'm being good. Look at this. Isn't this gorgeous? Isn't that gorgeous? When I see fabric like this, it gets me so excited. It makes me think, what do I want to do with this? I mean, what could I? That is just such a beautiful design. So I'll be using some of these for my doodles. In fact, I'll take pictures of these designs, put them on our website. So if you're going to do a Zen Safari doodle, I want you to have these African designs as well. I love the fact that we're doing African animals and African design doodles. To me, that's just beautiful. Look at this. Isn't that is gorgeous. Yep, lot of water. I should know better. Then I have some really pretty fabric I bought that I want to do. My favorite design time in history, interior design, architectural design, is, hold on. It was in my brain, and Art Deco. Art Deco. I absolutely love Art Deco. I'm sad that the Depression came along when it did, because that's what the Depression overtook the country. And in fact, do you know, in downtown Winston-Salem, Michelle knows this, we have the first, hold on, that building in New York that is so iconic, the Empire State Building. We have a smaller version in downtown Winston-Salem designed by the same architect. And when you see it, you go, it was built before the Empire State Building. And you can see the similarities. Oh, you're a Victorian nut. So I want to do an Art Deco quilt. And I'm really like looking at all of the possibilities and what I would do. But see this? It has an Egyptian feel as well, but this is African fabric. Now, I love that residual smell of wax. When you look at that, you see that Egyptian fan. Well, that was very popular then. The first quarter of the 19th century, they were discovering all the tombs over in Egypt. So that got pulled into the whole Art Deco. And that's why I love studying fashion, design, because you can tell a lot about what was going on in the country based on what things they used for design. In fact, I was noticing in the pictures that Meltem sent us, you can see that ancient old world tradition in the Turkish design. It's beautiful. And it helps you get to know what that society and what those people are like and what they value. That's why I'm fascinated. If I could go back again, would I be an anthropologist or would I build homes? Because I love house building and remodeling. So who knows? All right, this is indigo dyeing, and these were skirt panels. But I'm thinking, I watched The Last Homely House. I watched her take and put patches on a denim coat and then did interesting like sashiko type stitching on it. And this would be wonderful. And you could do your stitching on top of this and, use this as patterns. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but this is what I ended up buying from the quilt show. So I showed people on Thursday. Now let me get my stuff. I thought I might need to use up some time. So I've got my prosperity hens, but I don't think we'll have time to do them. So maybe next week I'll actually show you how to make one of them because they're fun. They're addictive, So here is my name tag. And this is for the Quilt Fest, Greenville, South Carolina. And I don't know if Sonia's here, but Greenville is beautiful. It's beautiful. I will tell you, if you go down there, go with someone, because in Winston-Salem, we use Interstate 40 to hop around, to go to different places. They use Interstate 85. If you want to go 3 streets over, you usually have to get on 85 and then hop off again. It gets confusing if you're by yourself, especially if you have an old GPS that is very slow to try to put in your address. But I did buy a pin. I try to buy pins if I put a quilt in there. And I'm feeling better now about putting the quilt in. I mean, it's good for me. It stretches my artistic range. It makes me get out of my comfort zone. And I'll probably do it again. I was just, if you ever judge a show, put some good comments on them. I know you're busy and you've got a lot to do, but that's important. So here is my Quilt Fest label. And it says this quilt, let me see. It says, put your glasses on. This wonderful quilt, oh, thank you, was jury judged and exhibited at Quilt Fest, Greenville, South Carolina. And it has the date on it. This is an iron-on label, and it will be now a part of the quilt. And whatever happens to the quilt, it will stay with the quilt so that anybody who owns it knows it was shown. So then, I need to, as soon as I can get my printer working again, I'll scan this in, because this is a list of all the winners. And that's always good. Here is my judging sheet. My quilt is Wooded Bliss Wall Quilt number 3013. And I got good on all of my artistic stuff, but workmanship, okay, the piecing and applique was good, but the quilting technique needs work, needs improvement. The finishing needs improvement. It says tension issues on back. Stitching should be consistent. And finishing needs improvement. And I know what she means, because I'd even noticed, I had read, if you do an art quilt with a whole lot of stitching on it, make sure your border is also stiff enough. And I knew that was a problem. I tried sticking and opening it up in places. So now I know what to do to improve. And so I've got my book. And there's just a couple little things. You know that the one thing I got real excited was Carol Bryan. I always try to say her name and I get it wrong. But the Bridges quilts, when you look at the show, were by Phyllis Cullen. Then there was the Busy Bees quilt group had a section. The Nimble Thimbles had a section. Fabulous Faces by Jean Impey and Freddie Moran. Hope quilts too. They were wonderful COVID quilts. Beautiful. Then Sakwa had a wonderful display, because I tell you, one day I would like to think I could be talented enough to join Sakwa. Then there was the Hoffman Challenge from 2022 that had exhibits. The I Spy barn quilts. You saw some of the quilts that were like a one block mini quilt. They were wonderful. Personal Viewpoints quilt. Hold on one second. Oh, here is this says Wall Quilt Competition. And if you look, there I am, 3013 Wooded Bliss, Deborah A. Johnson. That's me. Okay, now, these were all of the vendors. Lots and lots of vendors. That's why I wanted to take a picture of everyone to show you. The guilds that participated were the Greenville Modern Quilt Guild, the Heart of the Triad Quilt Guild in Kernersville, not far from me, the Landrum Quilters, the Nimble Thimbles Quilt Guild, Quilters of South Carolina, Quilts of Valor, and National Council for Incarcerated and Formerly Incarcerated Women and Girls. Wow. I tell you what, quilts are something else. I'll show you real quick. Oh, the virtual school fest, the virtual classrooms. I mean, they have some amazing teachers. And here is the teacher that Jody has. She's wonderful doing painted quilts. Now, they have something in here about empty spools seminars. But I think that's out in California. That's a little too far for me. Carol Breyer Fallert Gentry had the photos, pixels, and pizzazz. I mean, her quilts were amazing. And when I looked at her stuff, at first it was like, I could never do this. But then it was like, but isn't that wonderful to look at? And that's where I had to take some time to think about it, that when you see such amazing quilts, it can inspire you to reach a little farther. And that's a good thing. So, once I get over the fact that I know I'll never be able to work like that, then take a little bit that I can do from her beautiful, amazing work. Okay. There, I was really touched by the Peaceful Protest Quilts by Allison Allen. How wonderful. Then there was Quiet. These quilts were about tranquility from the textile artist of Virginia. Then the sea quilts. Oh my gosh, they were so cute. And you can still go to last week's show. It's listed under video, not live stream. And then now that you know some of the groups, you can go back and look and go, ah, but sea creatures were from Quilts on the Wall. And Sakwa had 2 different exhibits. Then Swimming Upstream. I loved her swimming quilts. They were all done by Bonnie Smith. Teach a Child to Quilt. There were some quilts made by children 7 to 16. Then I love the triptych quilts. Modern art quilters from Asheville, North Carolina did triptych. And you know, our very own Nazarene showed us her triptych, and that's one of the things I'd like to do this year. All right, then there was a retrospective of the WPA quilt projects, and the Works Project Administration was established during the terrible depression, and they put these patterns out to help women make these quilts, maybe to sell or to take care of their family. And it was wonderful seeing those blocks. All right, I think I've pretty much covered it. There were wonderful lectures. I got to see 2 of them, and it was all wonderful. All right, so that, and I keep all of my stuff here in a folder, and some of the stuff I will keep with the quilt just to help remind myself, you know, and especially with the judging papers and all of that. So I thought that's the last of the South Carolina quilt show that I went to. It won't be my last. So, all right, let me see what y'all are saying. And then I want to show you what has made me so happy this week. And I've got a lot to show you about it. All right, let's see. Hi, Barbara Smith. I don't want to miss anybody. Oh, Monkey Mary, I love your little icon there. How cute. It is so nice to see Monica on here with us. That is so nice. All right, and if anybody has any questions, remember, put them in all caps. It really helps me to see it. Like I saw that Marcia loves Victorian architecture. And, I'm going to drink some more water. My Mary's always right, and she looks out for me. And you know what? A Deb sometimes needs that, you know? All right, water. Okay, so let me pull all this fun stuff up here and show you what has made me so happy this week. Mark's like, oh no, not more beads. Yes, beads. And it's a good thing for me. Now where is, I hope I brought down her packaging. Let me double check, sweetie. Because here. What? No. Did I leave it upstairs? I hope not. Let me see. Did I accidentally put it in here? I don't know. All right. Well, I can show you. I'll show you again because the way she packaged everything and the way that she gave in her package when I bought my roller. She is in England and she put so many freebies. I felt like I was opening a present on Christmas. 100 free, these are bead cores. And if you know the Pandora type beads, they have these bead cores in them. And what is really nice about a bead core, it's a wonderful way to finish off It's a wonderful way to finish off one of your beads. So a paper bead can look like that, but then look how it looks when you put a bead core. So you get it as finished as you can, then you glue that core. Let me try to, the core is pushing up something here, so let me try to put this back in place. The one problem I had with, okay, here we go. Let me get this out of the way. All right. So the little part of paper that I started with got in the way. But anyway, so now here is the bead core. And you just put like some E6000, I think it's called, glue, and glue that in place. And it gives a really nice finished look to the bead. Because before I would take and sand the beads, then take permanent markers, like on a bead like that, I would use green and color the end of the bead. But depending on how expensive these are to get, and you know what these are? These are the single side of a rivet. And so, but she gave me, this whole pack was free. Then she gave me 2 samples to show me how the bead cores work. 2 beads of that, gave me all kinds of free patterns to cut the strips to make the beads. And oh my gosh, it was wonderful. And she said that the first time she ordered something from someone, they did that for her. And she knows how happy it made her. So she thought, that's what I'm doing for my customers. Wonderful. And she's got such a good rating. Okay, before I had a wonderful bead roller. I didn't bring it down here with me, but I had a wonderful bead roller that was made by Bead Girl, but then she ended up selling the patent to it to Fire Mountain Beads, and they didn't make any more. They just sold what was in stock and stopped it. And the thing I liked about it is it had a stainless steel blade, because if you get some of these blades, they're not stainless, and so they're kind of a little bit rough, and the beads can stick on them, because I like using plenty of glue. The beads can stick on them, and then you basically have to destroy the bead to get it off to make more beads. And so I have been looking, my favorite purple bead maker. If anyone has one they'd like to sell, let me know. And it has a plunger so that when you're done rolling your bead, you just go like that and it kicks the bead off. Loved that. But anyway, that's a thing of the past. So I started looking for beads. These are pretty good, and I put the gummy things on them to help hold, but the ends kind of hurt my hand when I hold them. They're not real designed for comfort. So then she was the only one who had this. Now, you don't have to use one of these. You can use a crochet hook. You can use a knitting needle. Some people use toothpicks. But I like this because of the shape of the handle, and it's well finished, so you don't have to worry about it getting splinters or, yucky. I like that it has, I think this is called a ferrule around it to keep the wood from expanding or splitting. And then I love the stainless steel blade. Now, you can get some that have 2 pieces of metal, and you kind of put the paper in between the 2 pieces of metal. But I prefer just having the groove. See the end of it? So it's a curved piece of metal. And the way this is made, it's forced in under extreme pressure, so the chance of it coming out are pretty zero. But never soak it in water. Do not stick it in a cup of water to where it can get on the wood. And I like having this ferrule on it because it keeps that wood nice and tight, so any stress doesn't crack the handle, okay? Because that's important. But as you can see, these, I really didn't use them. They weren't comfortable to use. So I have them, I guess, in a case of emergency. Also, I like a pretty good hole for my beads because I've got big hands, and using a real tiny one like this, that's a lot of work for me. And then it limits what kind of string I can put them on. With my big old head, I like using elastic string because you can just stretch it and pop it over your head. And that's what I like. So, all right, so I showed you these she gave free, and I show you the wonderful stuff it does for the beads. I'm going to show you these beads. Every single one of these are recycled paper. I don't buy paper anymore to make beads. You can, and don't feel bad about that. And I can even teach you how to save money on papers you do buy. I mean, you know, the scrapbooking people brought out all kinds of, you know, that industry furnished us with some gorgeous papers. I want to come back down here. Okay, you believe you have one. Are you kidding? I will buy it from you. And it's a purple one, and the bead thing comes off. Oh, I will definitely. Hopefully, I've got your email. Let me give you my email. If I can't find your email and you don't get a message from me, and I would buy that in a heartbeat. And my email is OurTimeToQuilt at twc.com, because I don't want to give any other information on here. Carol is here. Carol, I just went to see your site today. I was wondering how your finding a new home has been working, and I've been thinking about you so much. We love seeing our Carol. And don't forget to go to her Canadian Artisan YouTube channel. She does wonderful, so many different forms of art, but she loves the slow stitching movement and does wonderful handwork. Okay, so here I even took the outer Tyvek, put it in the front of the camera. I always forget, and I want to hold it in front of the microphone, not the camera. But I even made beads out of the Tyvek. And I actually took one of them. I don't see it right now. Put the heat gun on it. It didn't really do anything that exciting. And I thought, with my asthma, I don't need to be inhaling melted Tyvek. So I'm not going to do that anymore. But what I am going to do for these white beads, I have these decals. I bought a huge batch for my granddaughter to put on fingernail. She loves doing her nails. And I saved some that I thought would look, you know, like what I thought she wouldn't like, flowers and things. And I'm going to put those decals on these. So, and look at this. This was a piece of mail. It had a real pretty shiny leaf design. Let me find some other things. These are just sales thing, magazines, and I love it. They really create some. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? So I have been busy with junk mail, junk paper, and here's the one of my. Sometimes I've noticed, depending on what kind of paper it is and what kind of surface, you might have to glue it twice. And I used inexpensive school glue to make these. I don't want to use my expensive glues to make these. But anyway, I am going to show you why this works so well. And you notice I have an old pair of these spring-loaded snips. I'll show you what those do. Here, right here, this was a mailer, and it's got a sheen on it. I don't know if you can tell. And what I do is I have the white, like letter type junk mail, and I'll take the pretty color and glue it to the junk mail, because this is so slick that if you make the whole thing out of it, it is a waste. So I told y'all I'm cheap. What I'm doing now is just kind of getting the thicker paper. This was actually a piece of like cardboard, slick on each side. And what I do is I go to the corner of the card stock, and I peel it. And if I can peel it successfully, then it leaves a rough edge that holds glue better. Okay, so now let me just show you. A lot of times I like to take and knock the corners off there. Just gives a prettier finish. I want the pretty side of the paper facing down. And here is the reason that paper was inside that bead core is because this has such a big hole. I wish it had a finer hole, like a narrower slot, because when you put just regular paper in, it wants to pop, it wants to pop out. So I fold it away from me so that it'll lay against the inside wall of the bead. Get it started like this. Then I get my school glue, and I buy the school glue by a gallon. A gallon will last me at least a year. And that way I don't worry about it. Some people only put the glue at the very end, but then until you have totally sealed your bead, the bead can shift. So I tend to like plenty of glue. Now, what I usually do is just run the glue down with my finger, spread it, especially to the bottom, because then it allows the glue to get a little thicker and more tacky. Then I just start rolling and rolling the bead. Right here where it wants to come apart, I take some of the glue that's on my finger that's thicker and just kind of tuck that down. Then just keep on rolling and just pulling, making sure it stays smooth. All right. Now, sometimes with these thicker card stocks, you'll have to kind of hold it a little bit. But with just the paper beads, you could actually use a glue stick if you wanted. And then I come in here and kind of usually have to dig my fingernails in to pull it off. And the thing I loved about the purple bead maker was it had a plunger that pushed it off for you. Oh, good for putting your sight, Carol. Very good. That's right. Monica's from Newfoundland. Now, then once I've made a few beads and I let the beads kind of sit and dry for a bit, then I take these little paper snips. These used to be my good sewing ones, but now they're older and I have newer ones. And then I just kind of ride it along the edge of the bead like this. Okay. And what I'm doing is I'm taking a little, and the main thing is to put the scissor flat on the bead, and you just trim it until it looks more even. And that way you can put color on that more easily, or you can take one of these wonderful bead cores that she gave me, and you can pop that in there and glue it in place. Okay, so that just would pop in the end. But then you go to this end on the opposite side, you do the same thing. And you kind of know when it's time to stop, because when the thing lays flat, you'll start seeing that there's not much to cut. You know, like see now, look, when I go around, it's pretty even. So I do that and let them dry. Then let me get this. Then I'm going to take, let me see, these have all been trimmed up and stuff like that. They look nice. And what I do now is I get this. I love this. It's called Triple Thick. I keep hoping Michael's is going to have this in. I bought a pack of like 12 bottles. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. I love buying these in little bottles. Definitely try whatever size you get, try to get this kind of bottle. If you get the kind with the wide open mouth, it sometimes taking it on and off, it will really stick and get jammed. I like triple thick better than Mod Podge because Mod Podge stays a little sticky on the beads, and that drives me nuts. So what I'm going to do is take and put a little bit of this triple thick. And all this is an acrylic sealer. And I usually like the gloss, but you can get it in matte finish, or let me bring this light over here to show you. So I just take and put this on a chopstick or a skewer and then come along like this. Well, usually what I first do, let me show you what I first do. I first kind of dab it into the end. You want to seal those papers so they don't absorb any kind of water. Makes them easier to string too. Now I take and I just, with this on a skewer, I just brush this on. And I use a real soft bristled brush. Put on enough so that it will self-level. Don't be chintzy with this. Don't gob it on, but don't be chintzy. Then let it self-level. And you know how cheap I am, so you can see how expensive all this equipment is. Then I take a spare piece. You have to use your fingernails for this part. Spare piece of styrofoam. I stick toothpicks in it, then pop the bead on to let it dry. And I would put 3 layers on the beads and to have them look their best. Let me see. Some of the beads came out so pretty. Like, look at this one right here. Now, first, before I put it on the stick, I'm going to dab in some of this sealer in the end. Okay, then put it on my little chopstick here. Let me put a little bit more finish. And this, let me show you one more time. Deco Art Triple Thick. I love it. There's another one. If you're a serious beater, there is another like Jardiance or something, Radiance something, but it's expensive. But you just take and gently, while you're rolling the stick, just gently stroke this on. And you notice I go around a couple times because that's making sure that there's a equal thickness on it and it will self-level. But if you made a necklace out of these and you wore them with a khaki or tan color outfit, I think it's really pretty. So then I just pop that on there until it dries. And like I said, I like the triple thick because it doesn't leave them tacky feeling afterwards. I used to hate when I used the Mod Podge that I would go to get the beads out and they were all clumped together. That was frustrating. And as I told you last week, let me see if I've got some. I took my granddaughter's school program, and instead of just throwing it away, I made beads out of it and was careful to cut them so her picture, her brother's picture, her best friend's picture show on the bead. They were in the program. And I'm going to finish it for her, and then she'll have a keepsake of her wonderful time in her senior musical. So, all right. So now I want to let me get this in some water. Okay. And I'll get another drink myself. Thank you, Miss Mary, for caring. I didn't know why I got a cramp all of a sudden. And a hamstring cramp hurts. All right, make sure this stuff dries really fast. So if you're going to be using it and you have to go answer the door or the phone, take and put it in a baggie, tight baggie, airtight. Squeeze the air out, or have a glass of water you put it in. Don't have the water up to here like I sometimes do, because that'll make the wooden handle swell, and then your brush is ruined. So, all right. So just wanted to, show you again. This is how I make my strips. Now, if you have a paper cutter, you can cut your papers. I have this thing, a real tactile thing, and I don't like sitting still. I can't just sit still without something to do with my hands. I like the tactile feeling. I like the feeling of spreading the glue on the paper. I like the motion of winding the bead. I like even cutting them out by hand. Now, it takes practice. At first, some of my papers were, but if not, I did buy a guillotine, inexpensive. I got it for Christmas one year, a guillotine paper cutter like they used to have in elementary school for the teachers only. There are the sliding blade little paper cutters, but if you want, just use paper scissors and cut them. But if you go around the YouTube channels and stuff, you can see so many different kinds of beads being made. And what I'm going to do right now, we're going to go and look at your show and tell. But we're also first going to check out Miss Jilly. That's Jilly, Gilly, is the name of my new paper bead goddess. And that's where I got this wonderful, wonderful bead roller. Okay, so let's first check out her information. And, whoops, okay. All right. Yay. All right, I'm going to turn off the excess light here. Come on, light. Where is that button? Okay. All right. Then pull this over. Turn this wheel. All right. Trying to get better so I don't. Oops, I know what the problem is. It's got tape on it. Pull the tape off. I was trying to hold it in place to do some sewing Thursday night. All right. Let's look at Miss Jilly's site. And even if you think you might not want to make a paper bead, I want to show you. This woman is so generous and so, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, I'm going to come up here. Here is her Etsy store. And I don't get anything from her. I'm not in business with her or anything. It's just when I find a good product and a good seller, I like to turn you onto it. And her shop name is Images for Crafts. And she's from England. And Felixstowe, United Kingdom. But I wanted to show you some of the things that she does. Beautiful papers and different designs. And as you can see, they're $2 and something. They're pretty amazing prices. But like if you were a scrapbooker and wanted stickers and stuff, she makes them for all kinds of things. Here is a paper bead template right there. Some of these can be really wonderful because, whoops, I think I went the wrong direction. Because if you don't mind spending the ink, depending on how expensive your ink is, but she has all kinds of little tools, templates. Here is the bead roller that I bought from her. And if you think that her prices might look a little expensive, just remember the shipping is built into that. So you don't have to pay shipping on top of the rest. All right. And then look at these cute little buttons she makes. So she just has a whole variety of things. She has this thing if you want to make a flat bead, use that popsicle stick with a special thing on it to roll them. So anyway, and she has more of the cores for the bead making and lots of templates, lots of printable pages if you want to be able to print something at home and not have to go out and buy it. Envelope templates, so you can make your own envelopes. Very talented lady. Now, so that you can go down the rabbit hole and find so much amazing stuff. And you can go on Pinterest. And she has YouTube tutorials where she will teach you. You can get that free template you can print at home. And then she shows you how to do something called a woven bead, a pillow bead. Look at that. So let me go back a step. I just wanted to show you these up close. But her name's Jilly Madison. She's really, really cool lady. And I love her work. I'm going to go back and show you more things from her. Oops. I'm not entering my birth date right now. Thank you. Oh, no, this is not the Pinterest page I first went to. Okay. Let me see. There. Here is her Pinterest page. Jilly Madison, craft tutor and blogger. Very pretty lady. And look at all of this stuff with her. And it's pinterest.co.uk/Jilly Madison. Gilly Madison. And these are all of her different YouTube, all kinds of things. Look at this. So now, let's say you might want to try some of her free stuff. Let me see. Uh-oh. No, not that. Oh, pooh. Let me go back here. Somehow I might have, okay, here we go. So you can check this out. Go to this. Fun crafts today. Fun crafts to do at home. And so if you click on one of those things at Pinterest, and it can take you to different sites that in fact, you know what? Remember I was telling you with the white beads, I might put the little decals on? Here are some that have that done. But if you click on one of these to go visit it, let me close this out, then guess what? She will teach you she'll show you her YouTube channel where she teaches you how to make these beads. Look at those beautiful beads. Look at that. And then guess what? She has a lot of free downloads, free instructions, free downloads. And look at some of her beautiful beads she makes. Isn't that neat? So, and then she'll have download the free printable template. Let me show you that. And here we go. So she shows you this is the template, the style of cutting to make that type of bead. And then what you do is you use whatever paper you want, and you can use a double-sided tape or whatever and stick this on top of the pretty paper, and then you can just cut these out, whatever you want. But sometimes she will give free templates that you can print that have the color on them. So I've just been really impressed with how generous she is. Free printables. Let's see. So like here, you can print these specific papers to make these specific crafts. So there, if you want to learn how to do some of this, if you see a certain thing and you think that is just beautiful, or this one, let's go to this one right here. Let's see. How do I get to this one? Okay, here we go. Now, if you read down, free printables page, click here, click there. Don't click on the ads, just click on her things. Okay. Yeah, ignore these ads. That's something different. Okay, let's see. Get your free printable templates here. And just take your time and look to see. Now, where are the colors? I know I have saved ones that already had the color. Let me see if I can find this one. Look at these cute little Russian doll papers. And see, you only want to use the ink right at the very end where it'll show. So there's all kinds of, and I love nesting dolls. So that's awfully cute. Okay, let me go back. Okay, go back again. So anyway, I just thought I would show you, when you go to look at her site, keep looking and reading and check out her tutorials. She's the most generous. Okay, let's try this one. And you print this out, and then you can take and use those to make this. She even shows you how to make flat beads, so if you want to make beads for bracelets and things. So I just want to say that she's a lovely person. She has YouTube channels, wonderful things to offer, very generous. I've been chatting with her back and forth since. How wonderful. All right, let's go see what we've got for you. I haven't been taking care of these things, but let's just see. Miss Betty and her wonderful blue heron quilt. And look at her woodland waterfall. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love it. Okay. Now, BB. Got some new ones from BB. And oh no, I still don't have them. I think there are more, but I must have downloaded them wrong. But look at this wonderful quilt. Look at that. So talented. And this, the colors in this just remind me of Morocco or Turkey even. They're wonderful. Okay. Now, let me see. Miss Bonnie. I love that Miss Bonnie went to her SCA, I think it's SAC, and it's a Society for Creative Anachronism, SCA. And she had a wonderful get together, and it was kind of an open house saying, if you'd like to do this, come and join us. And they all have their characters. That's Miss Bonnie. She made her own outfit. Most people do. And so it looks like they had a lot of fun. And the thing I love most in life is there is something for everyone out there. I love them. Miss Brenda. Miss Brenda, you know she has her wonderful shop. And here is her shop. Whoops. Guess what? Somebody is home. So let me hurry up and show the show and tell. And then I want to go help that poor guy get in and get warmed up. But I hear his motorcycle. Oh. So So good to hear that. Every time he goes on one of his trips, I get nervous. And when he comes home safely, I'm thrilled. All right. Then this is Debbie Hodges. Love her work. Dogs, they're a little excited. Okay. Daddy waved in and he's wearing his, he's wearing his leathers, which I'm happy to see. And he just wanted to wave while he gets the bike in. Look at Debbie's quilt. I love it. Oh, look at this one. Hey, the dogs are very excited Daddy's home. Debbie, that's a wonderful Easter quilt. Love it, love it. I love how she has this displayed. That is wonderful. You can hear the motorcycle going in the garage, which is right beside me. All right, let's see who else here. Diana. Okay. Oh, I love Diana's. This is Diana B, I do believe. No, this is Diana's Sewing Adventures. Diana B. Okay, I'm sorry. I hope I've got this right. Sometimes I get confused between two Dianas, but they're each so special to me. I love the owls. I love her studio. Love, love, love it. Is that creative or what? Her puppy, her plants, her granddaughter at the frame, this wonderful antique quilt, and I love the colors in that. Wonderful panel quilt. There's so much out there. I tell you what, anybody can figure out what quilting has to offer. That's right. That was Diana Bicknell. Now here is Diana's Sewing Adventures. And I just love this face. Is this a sweet face or what? Isn't that beautiful? And I love that purse she made for her granddaughter. Is she sent new pictures? I'm sorry, I've missed them, but I will check. All right. Jerry of Ohio. Jerry watches, but is a little shy sometimes about speaking up. I love flying geese right now, and I would love to make something with flying geese. I love her flower quilts, that wonderful 60s kitty, and her hearts for Valentine's Day. I'll get the holiday right. I'm not excited about Mark being here. And here is my Greenville folder. And I just thought, let me see. But you can go and watch this online. But I would just show you a few things to kind of whet your appetite. And I love these beach scenes. I love all of these. You know, that's good to look at right now, especially since we are working on that same thing. Really creative, really wonderful. Okay, but don't forget, it's in my video section on the site. All right, let's see. Miss Lisa. This is our Lisa and her nod to the 19th blocks. Oh, somebody's here. Oh, hi.
Well, hello, everybody.
I got the camera turned so. Oh, you are soaking wet. Oh, we're almost done, so we'll see you soon. Yes. Oh, he is soaking wet, guys. Oh, can't give him a big hug when he's that soaking wet. Here are her wonderful blocks. I love the colors she chooses. Okay, now let's see who is next. Miss Mary. I love her stuff. And yeah, we're going to renew some of our photos, but I tell you what, they're oldies but goodies. They are so good. So we'll get busy. Let me see. Miss Melanie. Oh, yes. Love her. Look at this quilt. Gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, let's see. We're just about done. Miss Melton, I think she did send us some new things. Yay. This is a book cover she made, and I love all of her different stitches. Looks like she used some stitches on her machine. I love the little pieces of tatting lace. And that's what we call a crazy quilt, and it's beautiful. I love it. And then here is a little zippered pouch she made out of a Dresden fan block. I love her quilting stitching. And here is that book cover opened up. It is absolutely lovely. Way to go, Miss Melton. Okay, now let's see. Who else do we have? I'm trying to remember who has new ones. What is in this one? Oh, yes, I love this bag this is Pat Fry, and she made this for a granddaughter, and no candy, all fun craft items. I would love something like that. There is her Our Time to Quilt COVID quilt. We did. Okay, let's see. We know Miss Polly did her wonderful, wonderful, and I hope Polly did her wonderful weaving, and Cheryl did this. This is her entry in the Flower Power quilt. There, her group is entering to be chosen for selection for the quilt show that's going to be in her state, Michigan, soon. And let me see. This is lovely from our SJ in England. I love this. All right, boy, did I move through those fast. I'm not excited that Mark is back. No way. Oh, gosh. It's a long week when he's gone, but I made the very best of it and got myself very relaxed, and that is always a good thing. And let me come back to y'all. Hold on one moment. Okay. Sometimes these folders get all crazy things in them, but we'll get refreshed and caught up very soon. I put a new free pattern on our Groups IO. If any of you are on here and would like to join our Groups IO, then just was that Linda McCollum is here. Oh, I love when Linda McCollum stops by. Oh, how wonderful. Oh, and thanks. I didn't turn the picture to him because when he's soaking wet and just, all red-faced and sweaty. I mean, it is a bonsai trip home, and it takes him at least 5 or 5.5 hours. And today it took him 7 because of the rain. So that's a long day of driving. But anyway, here is, if you want to join our Groups IO, which is a free group, I can put free patterns on. We have files of all of the patterns we work on or I make. And it's Our Time to Quilt. I'm watching the puppy over my shoulder. Somebody's very happy daddy's home. She was quite sad. Both of them were very quiet and quite sad this week with daddy not here. So I think pretty much we covered everything. And by next week, I'll have some actual work done, some new stuff to show you. All right, everybody, have a great week. And once again, thank you for your sense of community that you give me and others who don't always have an easy way to get to a quilt group. And it just is so good for the soul. Take good care of yourself. Enjoy the spring and do something just for you. I think I've got a Judy Blume movie to go see. So take good care. Y'all are the best. Yes, I will definitely tell him. I will definitely pass your wishes on and tell him he can't be gone because I can't print anything. It's I mess up the video. All right. Take great care of yourself. Thank you for spending this time with me. Bye-bye, everybody. And I will get the blocks on the site. I promise. Bye-bye, everybody.